And we're live. Welcome back in again. How are we doing, everyone? T-posing like a poser. Second one here, baby. Third in heart, but he's first place in chat, and there's only 2 people here. Who's he third? Who's first? Who's first, Crazy? Who have you been seeing? Who haven't you told me about? You're the reason why our relationship has gone downhill. Well, let me go ahead and scroll on down here while people matriculate inward. I'm checking my mic. Yeah, I could be heard. Alright, good. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, Luis? How's everyone doing? I like hills. I like Silent Hill. Let's see here. Ah, here we go. Here we go. So here's a lyrical deck that I got. Is it lyrical enough for you? Is it cute? Anyway, back for another custom card stream. Definitely wasn't sure if I was going to do it today or not, but I had a feeling I was going to do it because, like I said, I'm going to be semi-consistent with these if I can help it. So, you know, once every few days, I'd say. And here I am. So, yeah, last time around, we reviewed, this was a Honkai thing, right? And then we also revealed the base Luon support, probably the hype of that stream. And there was a few standard retrains as well, and those were kind of funny. The Sephiroth Gila Vartex was just, and man, those Youthbergs, they burned the kitchen down. Our mermaid in Lyrical Monastery, that's some bull. I know, never happened before. I mean, guys, come on now. There are only, like, I'm gonna type this up right now, and I'm gonna be like Patrick Star and be like, about 10. Brother, there are only, so, like, what, 215 mermaids? Yeah, that's a minority in Lyrical. 215, hardly anything. Anyway, so, this is Shiglow Elordia. Okay. So kind of interesting because this is definitely a new unit, but the art's kind of nice. Now you can tell it's not like art. They burned the sky, dude. They made it rain hellfire for real, for real. Now you can tell that with this one, like, they took art from somewhere, but it's kind of nice to see a little bit more of like a abstract painting kind of feel to it. So it's cool. Let's see here. So Elordia, by the way, if this is actually like from like a show or something, someone let me know. I'm curious. So when this card is placed by Brian from the grade 0, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose an order, reveal and put in the hand, and shuffle your deck. Okay, so it's order based. Nice. Then we've got Twinkling Rhythm Elordia. When this is ruled upon by a grade 3 Elordia, the cost of the next order you play this turn may be paid with discard a card from hand instead. Ooh, that's a fascinating right line skill, but I kind of like that. It's kind of funny because it doesn't really plus you, but it's sort of like mitigating costs. So if your orders are expensive, I kind of dig it. Then, oh shoot, she became queen. Queen Slay. Okay, so we got Emerald Sparkling Magica Elordia. Act on the Vanguard circle. Discard a card from your hand is the cost. Choose an order from your bind zone, add it to your hand. Then, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets the following. All your front row rear guards get power plus 5,000 in turn. Oh, it's between the cost and the specific effect there, it kind of reminds me of Absolute Zero Clowia or Clow or whatever. The starter didn't state when wrote upon, if in second draw. Wow, 0 out of 10 deck. Yeah, she blew up hella, dude. I don't know what the hell went on, but like whatever happened, I guess she won some sort of idol competition, became the queen of Bermuda or some crap. Now, auto on the Vanguard circle. When this unit attacks or is attacked, if you played an order this turn, choose one order card in your drop with the same name as an order card played this turn. Bind it and apply that order's effects. Huh. It is like Zorga, but delayed. And it's actually, oh guys, it's actually the same name. So this is This isn't Zorga. This is Iron Anchor Resentment Dragon. Oh boy, if only Andrew was here, he would call this a 11 out of 10 card. This is the Iron Anchor support that he was waiting for, dog. That's insane. So, the text down here states, you're basically copying the order and playing it once again. Apply the activation requirement, and if it's like CB1, you CB again. Non-cost conditions, such as 5 more units, will still be met. Yeah, okay, so basically it's like you get to activate it again, but you have to meet everything about it. Yeah, I mean, at this point, what doesn't Lyrical steal? I mean, dog, in the fight night that's gonna like be uploading pretty soon here, dead ass, I played that new Absolute Zero card. The one that like Soul Blast to dump a card from the deck. You know what the hell I dumped from deck? Generically, Twin Cast Protect on turn 2. That's right, you can just do that now, I guess. That's insane work. So nothing is off limits as far as Lyrical is concerned. And V Bermuda really made that effing apparent, because what did V Bermuda not do, man? They had so much creative, but also like busted skills there. I will not want to enter that territory again. Now, having said that, this is really cool. Because this is sort of like so like they took the Iron Anchor gimmick of doing same order where Zorga does different customarily, unless you're talking about teasing. But what she does is she splits the timing and one being on attack, so anything that superior calls as an order is immediately a play here, right? Now, even though this is free, you have to pay the cost of those orders, which means that it's not free as long as the order has a cost. But you do have Twinkling Rhythm Elordia, so you could replace with the discard instead. Now, this effect has the ability to discard an order to have an order from your bind zone to your hand, but this is binding as an on attack or when attacked. So this axe skill customarily I don't think should be going immediately. However, having said that, there is one order card that goes really hard here, which is High Five. Hey, what's up, Ice? So, check this out, right? So, High Five Vanguard. This effing order is gonna be the shiznit in this deck, right? So this is an order that can be played from the drop, and you play with Counterblast 1, but you don't have to if you have Divine Skill. This doesn't have that, so you still have to pay the CB, thankfully. Now, it binds itself in order to draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and reveal it. Then, if the revealed card is a unit card with grade less than or equal, you call to the rear circle. Then, if you called, that unit gives the ability to get 5,000 power when it leaves the field, and plus 5,000 power. So, you know what, yeah, I know, I'm hooked too. You know what's great? So here's what you do, right? During, so you discard this card and activate it. That means it binds itself. Then you, and here's the thing, you then discard a card to add this card that just bounces stuff back to the hand. Yeah, really nifty. So now, like, it's back in your hand, right? Now all you gotta do is like discard it through any other effects, like Elordia, for instance, Disgrace You, or any kind of discard effect. There's a few out there. Then it's in the drop zone in order to be played again. And the even better part of that, this effect doesn't specify how the unit has to leave the rear circle to give power. It can leave the rear circle even by overcalling. So what you do is you call the unit here during the main phase, then during battle phase, you reignite the call skill, overcall the initial bearer of this skill, which gives 5,000 power. So like, yeah, you loop into it. That's, oh my god, that's amazing. That is so cool. Now you have to CB for each instance of it, but like that's oddly, that's kind of fair. It just makes sense. So this is definitely got to be your number one, like flat out. It's amazing. So yeah, good stuff from Elordia so far. So he made some other cards, it looks like, but no artworks for them. Ooh boy. Man, when I said that the limit was 12, everyone really took that to heart, didn't they? Smooth Melody Penelope is a grade 2. When it attacks a grade 2 or greater unit, if you have Elordia, it gets 5,000 power for every order card in your bind zone in the battle. Fair enough. This is it's kind of interesting because Elordia herself will so you can add an order card from your bind zone to your hand, and it gives 5,000 to all your front and rear guards. So basically, even though you're adding like back in order, which decreases this, you're giving 5,000 rear guards anyway. So it's an equalizer. At the end of your turn, if you have an order card in the bind zone, damn well better, put this into the soul to choose a unit in your rear circle and return it to your hand. Okay, fair enough. I mean, this is a neg one to bounce, but, you know, I mean, getting soul back is a nice exchange. Now you have Claudette, which is another grade 2. It can't, if you have a order card in the bind zone, this gets 5,000 power and a shield. Yeah, so, high five. Just high five, guys. Just high five in chat right now, all around. Do the Markiplier thing. By the way, this is like kind of so this is actually like a generic card, right? So this would be a part, this could theoretically, because like now this effect is a Lordia locked, but this effect isn't. So you could actually do this as a part of an order package if the thing you're using order package with is high five. Trippy. This is also generic for order package. This appears to not be, though. Auto on the rear circle once per turn. If you activate an order this turn and you've got an Lordia, you CB1 to choose a unit card from your drop to grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call to the rear circle, and if your opponent's Vanguard is great, you're going to get blood. Ooh, so there's kind of, ooh, what's up, crazy? High five. So what's kind of trippy about this is, so this is an auto skill that reads as an act skill because it doesn't have like an activation timing, it just has an activation condition. So that means this is actually an act, which is significantly better because reviving during the main phase is probably what this deck would like to do, because you could get out some really cool fodder off of that, so that's pretty nice. Pristine Show Rhonda is a great one. Act on the drop. If you've got an Lordia, you Energy Blast 3 and bind an order from your hand or drop to call this. And if you have 2 or more orders and you're buying something, ooh, frick. Okay, so wait, that's kind of a combo though, right? Oh, frick. So here's what you do, right? Oh, okay. So you use high five during main phase to call a card. Now high five's bound. You discard specifically Rhonda here in order to add high five back. Now you can bind high five again in order to like do that. You don't have to do it that way, but that is kind of cool that you can convert. Now high five's not on the drop zone anymore. If you do it that way, that's cool. That makes you can't like loop it automatically, but that is still kind of a nice application for like the loop-de-doop-de, right? This is yeah, I know, this is my jam too, dude. This is awesome. There's some potential like abuse points here, but like shoot, I don't care. It's awesome anyway. Now out on the rear circle once per turn, when your rear card in the same column as this unit stands by card ability, stand this unit up. This is completely generic, so this applies to all of Lyrical. Like, holy crap, we're so close to just another Lyrical engine at this point, which is either good or bad, depending on how you look at it. Now, this is a grade 2 lane. Auto on the rear circle. When it's placed on the rear circle, Soul Blast 1 if you've got an Lordia. You look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose 1 order card from among them and add to your hand shelf for your deck, and now reveal a card with this ability, Soul Charge 1. Ooh, Soul Charge to add any order card. See, I got a couple of problems with that one though, but like it's in Lordia, which is the good point, because like it could do a lot of things, right? Like one thing you can do, by the way, is you can add Regardless piece, which is it's pretty powerful. It's pretty effing powerful, and this searches high five as well, right? Now, Lordia is the name of the entire ride line, so you can't plop it on turn 2 and get this going, so that's pretty damn good. Just doing gimmicks that they do best, yeah, in a way, right? Bermuda, the V Bermuda was also really good at doing that too, interestingly enough. All right, now then, on top of that, we've got auto to the rear circle once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you've got an Lordia, CP to draw a card. Choosing your units gets 5,000 power every 2 orders in your bind zone to a turn. Ooh, yeah, so that's a really slow power up, but you're just CPing to draw, basically. That's not, I mean, that's a perfectly fine effect, right? It's somewhat reminiscent of Strega, One Night Witch Strega, which is the grade 2 order engine card for Lyrical, which you should definitely be playing, in my opinion, in this deck, because crap's kind of hype when you combo it. I mean, let me just go ahead and pop this up here, right? So Vanguard card list, I'm going to go over to Strega, which Strega, I can just type her in right now. Strega's effect, you have, both these effects are really good in this deck. So if you've played a normal order, when it's placed other than by unit card's ability, you can Soul Blast to like call, right? Being called off the effect of high five is not a unit card's ability, so you can trigger this. And the best part is, by the way, check this out, guys. You want to know some real wombo combo type crap here? You go up to Lordia. Lordia has an ability and apply the order effect. So you bind it and apply the order effect, right? Now, the effect, if I'm understanding this correctly, the effect is still the order effect. It's not a unit card ability that called this. So mid-battle, thanks to high five, you call this. and then you superior call. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then the CB's to draw and gets 10,000 power into end of turn. And the end of turn could be important. They have a way to like restand units, which I don't think you would, but that's just something worth noting too. Oh yeah. Oh, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Josephine, grade 1. When this unit's power increases by the effect of your order card's ability or Vanguard's ability, this unit gets the following, which, by the way, again, high five down here. High five actually gives 5,000 power to the unit that it calls, in addition to the power-up skill for when it leaves the rear circle. So it's 2 instances of 5k, and the one at the bottom here, the black text, actually like procs this right away. Be looking very CP intensive, sure, but I bet we're gonna get a countercharger at some point because it's standard card design. We just, I mean, we can't CB too much without a countercharge. It's just how standard works these days, unfortunately. When this unit's power increases by an order card ability or Vanguard ability, this unit gets the following ability, which, by the way, there's no Lordia ability here, so that could be from a lot of things. Out on the rear circle during the battle, this unit boosted if your opponent would call cards to Guardian Circle. They must call 2 or more at the same time until end of turn. What's funny is this actually works with like Kyrie. Now it's during the battle that it boosted, so this works with anything. That's really messed up, dude. This deck uses this more than Divine Skill. Yeah, for real. For freaking real, dude. I mean, shoot, Lishifio can't even, like, Lishifio and Chris Rain, aside from Chris Rain's Divine Skill, neither of them really use Josephine, like, all that well, right? You would need to use the high five, so this order card is just the way to play it, right? At the end of your turn, you have 3 or more orders in your drop and or bind zone, and you got a Lordia. Put this into the soul, energy charge 3. What did I just say, chat? What did I just say? Here comes the counter charge. So what's also trippy about this, this is not if you did not countercharge this turn. So if you have multiple Josephines, you have the ability to put them all into soul to soul charge, countercharge multiple times, right? And then what you can do after that is you've got a revival card here, which is this card, which is basically an act. So you can CB back in order to call in, that'll like refund for you. So those CBs just like negate each other effectively. Really easy there. 3 of that card's gonna be crazy in the back row. Oh yeah, dude. I hope you're not Dragul Ignis, because you're not gonna be retiring crap after this is done with its battle phase. I mean, the deck abuses high five more than, yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. It does abuse them hella more. Silver Melody, Dancing Magica is a normal order. Oh, okay, so we got our own normal orders. I don't know how these do, because they're gonna have to try pretty hard to beat what I've got cooking with this one right here. Silver Melody has the ability that you need to play it if you have an Lordia, so it's not generic. Very nice. Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. If you have a Magicka card with a different name in your bind zone, you can reduce it by Soul Blast. So initially it costs both, but then afterwards it's just the Counterblast. That's really nifty because it actually is a discard. So if you play it right away, it's discard instead of both those costs, and then afterwards it'll just be CB from there on out. So that's kind of a way to get around it. There's a lot of combos in this deck. It's very well thought out for the most part, aside from the generic implications, in my opinion. Now look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Choose a unit card from among, choose a card from among them and put in your hand and shuffle the rest of the deck. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose 2 of your units and they get 5,000 power in a turn. This procs Josephine, so that's pretty good. So there's actually no multi here, but because it's adding any card into the hand, you can even tutor in blitz orders, PGs, persona rides, all that good stuff. So this definitely reads as a sort of like a beginning card. You start with this and then you probably move on to more like end game kind of stuff later on. Just got back on break from work. Oh yeah, welcome on in then, Arxel. I remember high five so much since the Yugioh dub. I know, right? High five. I'm so tempted to say high five the sky, bro, but I don't want to cringe. I don't want to do it. What's up, Flareblade? Welcome on in. So now we also have this is the only card left. Wow. Okay. We actually got through that. Golden Melody, Illuminate Magica. So they so gold and silver, both Magica. I like the naming. This has a really cool aesthetic. Can I just say, even though most of the cards don't have images, but. Play this card if you got a Lordia. Now this has both the Kabluis, but then you reduce it by CB if you got a different. Ooh, so this is probably gonna be your big soul blasting unit. I bet this has some sort of finishing skill because we need finishing. Plus it's gold. Gold is, you know, first and silver is second anyway, right? Choose one of your rear guards, gets power plus 10,000 until end of turn. All right. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets the following effect: when your Vanguard Lordia and its card name attacks, EV3 and stand. Okay, so. Effectively, it turns one of your units into a Shahoo. Okay. Hey guys. Guys. Restand Strega and use its not once per turn effects. So it's gonna swing for 20,000 CB to draw and get and be 30,000 for the first attack, and then you restand it, and then it's gonna CB, draw a second card, and be 40,000 on that second attack. Yeah, there's a lot of combos here. This is a really fun archetype. I give it about a 9 out of 10. A little bit iffy on like its generic implications. It's got abuse points, but I think it's so phenomenal. And I honestly, high key, this is more interesting than Zorga these days. I'm just gonna be completely real with you, dog. That is pretty insane. Utopian Vanguard just to say high five the sky. You should also add in Feel the Flow. We cannot forget that one. That was the wise words of Yuma Tsukumo. Oh, I've been wanting to jump into one of these. Could definitely use some feedback from more experienced Vanguard players, of which we definitely are, aren't we, chat? A 12 card suite for Amaryllis. What'd I say, guys? I said the limit was 12, and everyone decides it's 12 cards. Holy crap. Are you That's not 12 cards! What? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 with pictures. I'm going to assume that's what we do. We milk the 12 around here, guys. Alright, let's go one at a time. Are you able to see the card on here? Ooh, that's some AI art kind of crap right there. Are we able to see this on stream at the moment? Let me check. Just to make sure that we're on the same page. 12, you meant 12 times 12. Oops, I meant 144. Okay, thank you, Miss Area. Alright, so Soul. Continues the Soul. This cannot leave the Soul by card abilities. FU2, Seraph Pure Light. When this is wrote upon by Emelin, reveal a Frolicking Bolero Amaryllis, which Bolero is a form of music, so that's, I guess there might be a music theme in addition to flower, which in Amaryllis is a type of flower. Yeah, I know, random knowledge, right? So if you revealed a card in the right deck, this unit gets Act in the Soul, put a card from hand into Soul. Choose a Crystal Scape in your order zone and stand it. Until end of your opponent's next turn, the card that was put into the Soul for the cost of this ability cannot be called or played. You can activate. This is a starter. Oh god. Let's be real. Likely some AI art, but I hate it when they use it the wrong way. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, AI art, it has fringe uses, I must say, but you know, it all comes down to how respectful and poignant the implementation is. But like for the most part, far and away, I'm not really an AI art guy because you know it just doesn't feel wrong. Yeah, who would start with that? I know it's like it's the Family Guy bit where Peter's like, who the hell starts a conversation like that? I just sat down. Like, holy crap, this is my first card and I'm already reading like a paragraph. Okay. I don't know what this is. Token set order. We've got an Amarillo. There's gonna be so much reading. Chat, we are speed reading these. Whose health starts at right line like that? Yeah, exactly, Dodote. That should be our community meme. Who the hell starts a ride line like that? SMH. So, if you have an Amaryllis, this gets all the following. It's treated as your unit, even if it is on your opponent's rear circle. You may attack or boost with this unit. Oh god, it's one of these. I've seen this idea done a few times, by the way. That's what happens when you review cards for, you know, multiple years. You may attack or boost with this unit, even if it's on the opponent's rear circle. Your opponent cannot move this unit or attack or boost it. By the way, attacking is one thing, but how the hell are you going to boost? What's the rulings on that? You don't have an implementable target. When your Garden Keeper unit, that's the race here, is placed on the rear circle, this unit is on. Gets 5,000 ton. Well, you damn well better be placing on your own rear circles then, because if you're placing on your opponent's rear circle, this is just so invasive. When your opponent's unit is placed on the rear circle, this unit is on. It gets minus 3,000 to end of the turn. You see, I actually kind of like that effect. Then you may put a Garden Keeper unit card from your soul in your drop. If you do, your opponent also gets, when this unit is chosen by trigger effects, increase or decrease his unit's critical to 0 until end of turn. Whoa. Okay, so if they you know what's kind of funny about this? So, front triggers don't choose, I don't think, right? So, the front triggers are exempt from this. Criticals, obviously, are the intended target. But if you choose for a heal or a draw trigger, you're effing out of luck, son. Because it's just going to reduce the critical and you can't fight back against that. That's goddamn mean, bro. It's oppressing my eyes. For real, Noel. Alright, next up is another normal order. God, why? If you have a... It's another paragraph. If you have a Grade 3 or greater Amaryllis, you can play this from your soul. Sure, I think I remember that a little bit, because I think the starter says you can't do that initially. Call a Crystalline Seed token to any player's open rear circle. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, you may call up to 2. If you play this card from your soul, bind it. Okay, sure. I guess I kind of understand that. When your Crystalline Construct token attacks or boosts, put it at the drop, and it gets 5,000 until the end of that battle. From the soul, sure. And also from the soul, it's got an... God, why is there so many effects here? If you do not bind a Garden Keeper order of the same name as this unit, bind this card, choose 3 Garden Keeper of different names for your drop, and put in your soul. Moving on, this, I'm gonna guess this is the ride line. Oh yeah, we got some freaking AI art on here. Soul, this is regarded as any Garden Keeper unit card on your rear circle, because why the hell not? I don't know why that's important. It's a Garden Keeper, and that's all I've seen to gleam is important. God, to put Yu-Gi-Oh on my Vanguard is awful. When this is placed on a rear circle, your Crystalline Scene token, look at the top card of your deck, put on the top of the deck and the soul. Sure, why not? That's kind of a Genesis effect. When this unit boosts a Garden Keeper or Crystalline token, look at the top card of your deck, put on the top of the deck or in the soul. Wow, it's kind of plays like Revelation, which I customarily have a bias for, but at the same time, it's in this monstrosity that I don't even really know how to figure, so moving on. This is, let's see, which of these AI arts do we think is the ride line? I'll just pick this one. It's technically cuter, I guess. When this unit is placed by riding from... Wow, is that actually a normal effect I'm about to read? With the top 5 cards of your deck, choose 2 Garden Keeper unit cards, remove them, and put them in your soul and shuffle the deck. Wow, that is actually like a Genesis effect again, because Chamomile does that as well. Melissa technically too, but Chamomile's more poignant because it's also great too. At the end of your turn, this has an on the soul to put itself into the drop and choose one of your Crystalline tokens, retire it, and call a token to any player's open rear circle. I mean, yeah, sure. Okay. I assume the ride line are the cards that say ride or boss. Yeah. Act on the Vanguard circle, Energy Blast 3. Choose up to so you call one of these tokens to an open rear circle. Okay. Now I'm not gonna lie, if it's me, bro, I'm just keeping a full board. I'm just gonna play Alden and keep a full board. Get these things off of my rear circle, bro. I don't want them there. But this thing is this thing's a freaking Vanguard doing that, so you probably have to just incur one. What's this other one do then? Oh my god! I want to compare something here real quick, just to really hit home. Let's go down to set 7 real quick. Look at all that text. Look at all that text. She's roughly got the same text as an English Astroa Bicostella. Astroa Bicostella is capable of 5 effects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is this on a supporting grade 2 rear guard? Now we can put. Now you see Bowing Saber, bro. I don't know. Maybe that Bowing Saber kind of blows some crap out of the water. I mean, we can if we want. It's really fun to. I love bringing up Bowing Saber. It's the closest thing we have to the anime version of Winged Dragon and Raw. For real. So let's see. Bowing Saber. It's a Narukami. So Narakamis are in. They're not set, so they should be right here. Now you see, we're not as bad as Bowing Saber. Not many things are. But we're getting there. We're pretty close, actually, chat. pretty goddamn. Oh. What does this do? I'm gonna speed read this too. If you got a Garden Keeper boost, sure. When the attack this unit boosted specifically hits, perform one of the following. Choose an order from the drop and put in the soul. Or if you got one in the bind zone, put in the drop. Okay, sure. Honestly, I would have kept it at those two effects. Whatever this is going at, don't do it. It was placed on rear circle by your Crystalline Seed token. You look at the top 7 cards of your deck instead. Counterblast 1 or Energy Blast 3, look at top 5 and get a, wow, what a difference. Reveal a Garden Keeper unit card or the order and put one in the hand and rest in the... It's doing a lot, as does everything here. Sure, grade 3 next, why not? We'll go look at Erica, an Erica AI art fanfic from Shadowverse. Okay, head retainer chameleon. Oh, this is definitely based on, they're saying the word retainer. This is definitely based on Erica from Shadowverse. So rear circle, when it attacks, Energy Blast 3, you're gonna battle a thing on the rear circle along with their Vanguard, buckaroo. Then if they've got a grade 3 greater Vanguard, and you put this over one of your tokens, you choose 2 of those rear circles to attack. Why the hell did we just have Dragonic Kaiser Vermilion the Blood? You know the Blood's gotta like... That's his main effect, right? And you just put it on the random rear guard, and you have the audacity to have another equivalently sized effect. Okay, sure. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks, you counterblast 1. You activate that pain that why? If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you may call a crystalline token any player's open rear circle instead. I feel like the act ability is probably better. Actually, what is the Vanguard? I don't even know what the Vanguard. Oh, it's probably this thing, right? It's gotta be this thing. Yes, it is. Somehow, it's probably got, like, marginally less text than the grade 2. Sure. When your drive check reveals a trigger, in what universe were we supposed to be caring about our triggers? Okay. Yeah, it's rude as hell, Miss Area. That's on a rear guard, bro. Fight Night for Sienna win. Fight Night's actually gonna get uploaded shortly. I'm not sure if you can see it down below on my screen. It's 88% done with being uploaded on my computer, and then from there I'm gonna have to upload on the YouTube after the stream is over. So it should be up sometime tonight. Okay, anyway, so when you reveal a trigger, because that is totally what this archetype has been about from start to finish, choose up to one of your Garden Keeper rear guards with the same name as a card in your soul, which you just put any number of anything from anywhere into there anyway, so you'll have it. Oh, I guess that's why that one card counts as any of them on the rear circle, because it just makes this easy. Sure, why the hell not? Choose a rear guard, put a card with the same name as the chosen rear guard from your soul in the drop. Okay. Energy Blast 3, call up to 2 tokens. And you also have another act. Counter Blast 1, choose 2 of your tokens and make them flirt. Why is there a keyword? It's pretty bad. Ooh, it's pretty bad. When a crystalline flourishes, call a so you call the token over a token. That's admittedly kind of neat, but say, does he read the customs in his Discord server? Is there a specific process I have to go through? I really want to see my funky plants. I read on the Reddit post that I made, which it shut. The Reddit post has like been taken out a while back. I'm not taking any more into it, so you'll have to wait until next season for that. But I do occasionally look through my custom card channel in my Discord section, so there's a section for that. If you want to post it in there, I might come by it. Don't ping me or anything. I just might see it or not. Oh God. I have a keyword. This makes no sense. AI art, paragraphs, keywords, so sad. I mean, keywords inherently aren't bad, but when it's on top of literally everything else, like this deck just does so much. I don't even get why. I mean, yeah, no, that's it. And I get a what the hell out of 10. Key Supermarket, please do better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God, it's not 12. That's insane. But it's also. I think this is AIR too, right? Thank you. They're already in the thread. Sweet. It's basically Levy Dress with tokens. This has got to be the starter, right? When it's wrote upon you, when second draw a card, immediately better than that first starter we saw. Smile. Anyway, grade 1s. It's one of these two. Gonna guess it's the lad. It's the right line. When wrote upon by Takiri for its name, put a card from your hand in the damage zone. Face up, I would imagine. Choose a card from your damage zone and put in your hand. If you have 2 or more cards in your damage zone, draw a card. Huh. So, bad AI art, but actually kind of an interesting effect right there. So, you do a basic damage zone swap, but then if you got rushed up a little bit or they crit you, then you draw a card. That's kind of an interesting punish. Check you later, Arxel. Thanks for dropping on by. Okay. So far, kind of interesting start. I don't customarily see that. See one with Biscotti. Truly. What's the other grade 1 do? Actually, no, I'll look at that later. I need to look at what the grade 2. So she's probably a helper because that was all rear guard. So let me look for anime boy grade 2. It's probably this one. Yeah, I'm right. When wrote upon by Arclight Celestial Satale, form, this is a mistype, it means from its card name. Choose a card in your drop zone, put in your damage zone. Choose a card from your damage zone, put in your hand. Ooh. It's on a ride line skill, but yeah, that is basically like a drop zone to hand kind of thing. This is very reminiscent of Drosavodia from the Impaldio ride line, because your automod gauges put cards from drop zone into the automod, right? And then you can add one back to your hand after you put top card. So this is kind of like that, but for damage zone. Okay, that's not a miss. The only thing that gets me about this is that this is a free counter charge. So he's falling into the V-Series Angel Feather predicament where counter blast is not a cost because they don't specify adding only face-ups. This doesn't really need to matter for the most part because Takiri doesn't have like a CB skill inherently, so Takiri can't just CB and this replaces, right? So this unfortunately though can pay back your CB, and in Keter Sanctuary specifically, that's really powerful because we have a lot of like strong early rush tools for CB like Voltrosa and also Asperonia. So we have a lot of cards like those to bring to bear here, and that's just kind of nuts. So it should have said face up, but it was actually almost there, surprisingly. So yeah, don't judge a book by its cover, even if it's anime AI art cover. Okay, next up. Wait, this is familiar. What is YouTube fans? I don't know either, dude. I feel like I fought this before, right? Like many months ago, I think I fought this with Dragiled Ignis of all things. Wow. Huh, funny seeing that here. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1 and choose a face-up unit card. Oh, there it is. Call it to rear circle and put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. So far, kind of cooking. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose and call up to 2 units from your damage zone to rear circle instead. Uh-oh, it didn't. Okay, so I'm going to assume that because of how he's wording it, it still inherits the face-up unit condition. Okay, and call to 2 of them to rear circle. And choose one of your Vanguards and deal it 1 damage equal to the number of units called by this effect. So, this is very reminiscent of what was known as Black Seraph Gavriel. Let me back out real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this would be Black Seraph, and then we'll just put G to put a lid in real quick, and you'll see what I mean. So Black Seraph Gavriel, this was the CB cost, right? So you had to pay the CB ahead of time, but then it states at the end of battle, this unit attack, you choose 2 cards for your damage zone, heal them, and then deal 2 damage, right? So this one has like the double rescue check, but now imagine if those 2 cards instead of healing were called to the rear circle. It's kind of like that, which is kind of neat. I don't hate that, surprisingly. It's got another skill, though. Now, at the start of the ride phase, Energy Blast 3 to put the top card of your deck into your damage zone, choose a card from your damage zone, put in your hand. Okay, so that's a really powerful toolbox. Okay. Ooh. I remember because it was before one of our fights. Wow, okay, yeah, what a memory. So yeah, it's kind of like Rescue. It's got rescue checks, but it's superior calling them, and then this one has like an add back to the hand. So this actually does feel like Celestial that way, because Celestial, for those of you who don't know, the main gimmick of Celestial was twofold. One was that it was one that was really focused on specifically swapping out damage and adding damage to the hand for sort of a toolbox thing. So it was a very prototypical Angel Feather archetype. It didn't really do rescue checks for the most part. But another thing about Celestial worth noting is that they had a aesthetic where they had blue wings. If you look at Celestial units, by and large, Celestial units are going to have blue wings. If I were to type up Celestial right now, and, you know, specify Angel Feather in case they have other stuff, right? So let's go over here real quick. Blue wings, blue wings, blue wings, bluish wings, blue wings, blue. You see where I'm going with this, right? They generally have blue wings. So in his AI art, he actually has blue wings on these units. So this one especially. So I mean, I guess that's actually kind of neat. Yeah, it's kind of like Reziel, but probably what people thought Reziel was gonna do. You know, minus the second effect there. The primary effect's actually kind of nice. It is definitely like a pretty nice multi-attack for him. As long as it maintains the face-up unit on the 2 or more, then that's pretty nice. It's powerful. It relies on seeing the triggers from the rescue checks to get the oomph, because there's no power to these effects at all. And so far I haven't seen really a beater for him. So Counter Sanctuary is known for generics that are about mustering units to the field. They don't customarily have a lot of good beaters generically. Probably one of the best ones that we have is Yistit, and also Sawjess. So yeah, overall, I'm actually kind of digging that for the most part. It's a little basic, but at the same time, I think the secondary skill kind of like adds a lot of toolbox to it, so it's pretty good. So let's go down the line here. So this is a grade 3 rear guard for now. Now that's just white wings. It needs to be blue. When this unit attacks, if you've got a Satale, you Soul Blast 2 to choose a card for your damage zone, heal it, and then deal a damage. Soul Blast 2 for rescue check. I mean, yeah, that's pretty fair. During your turn, if you have Satale and you have 3 or more cards in your damage zone, this unit gets 10,000 power. So this is your beater. This is the thing you want to call. I would put it to 4 or more, because, you know, even in standard, 4 or more seems to be the quote-unquote standard for limit break effects, right? So, you know, just be like Reziel that way. Just do 4. Yeah, it's kind of nice to keep things simple, right? It definitely feels a lot better that way, because you have your dedicated beater. This is your dedicated multi-attack, and then he also has Recycle, and then Recycle could add into a lot of the utilities, which we're about to see what the rest of the utilities are here. Let's move over to Healing Wizard here. You can see the PNG name. A little big. Let's see. I like how he capitalizes damage zone. So auto, when placed on rear circle other than during the battle phase, this must have a call skill. Energy Blast 3, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and choose up to a card and put in your damage zone, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck and choose a unit card from your damage zone called the rear circle. Booyah, that's actually pretty damn cool. I think and what's interesting is it says choose a unit card from your damage zone and call it to rear circle. So even though it doesn't say face up, because it specifies unit card, I don't think you can choose face down, because you can't confirm information on face down cards. So you can only confirm a unit card if it's face up inherently. Neat. Yeah. It reminds me of, oh god, what was her name? I think it was Harut, right? Back at it again. I'm pretty sure it was Harut was her name. Look at, let me let it. Yeah, Harut. So, she looked at the top 2 cards of the deck and put it in the damage zone, and then you choose a card face from the damage zone called a rear circle. Now, this actually was a multi-attack, and this isn't, but it also only Energy Blasts 3, and you look at the top 3. Now, auto on the rear circle, when it's retired by other unit placed from damage zone, so in other words, when it's overcalled by a card from the damage zone, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you could redirect him to the soul, and Satale gets the ability that all your front row regards gets. Wow, we're really getting a boom of this specific red text, aren't we? That's fascinating. So, okay. As you said, a lot of these cards are putting damage face up, so it's practically a ton of CC. Yeah, it needs to keep specifying. It needs to keep specifying face ups, or, you know, specific information like unit card in order to like equalize. So yeah, this card's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. There's a lot of opponents Vanguard grade 3 or greater, so this definitely has a really strong going second clapback, because it also naturally scales to damage the way that like an Angel Feather deck customarily should anyway. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The only thing I don't like about this deck for the most part so far is the freaking art. Fighting Celestial Kyriel. Why'd you choose Kyriel? Kyriel's actually a unit. Kyriel is a whole ass Vanguard from way back in the day. Circular Saw Kyriel was her name. She was one of the first limit break units for Angel Feather, perhaps even the first. Out on the rear circle, when this unit attack, okay, well there's another language thing. If you got Satale, you Counterblast one to put the top card of your deck into your damage zone as part of the cost. And you choose a face up card from your damage zone to put in your hand. Okay, not bad, not bad. A lot of cycling here, dude. This deck effing digs, bro. As long as the CB remains actually costly, he's got a winning formula here. I like it. During your turn, if you got Satale, you have 3 or more cards in your damage zone, this unit gets 10,000 power. Okay, so it's a grade 3, it's a grade 2 version of the grade 3 beater, which was right over here. Grade 3 beater does rescue checking. This one does like a card advantage, but they're both beaters. So this would basically be like your Noberis slash Nobia, and this is more your Gigantic Masher. Okay, fair enough. And then finally we got Titsama over here. When this unit on Vanguard Satale for .exe is not computing. Choose a card for your damage zone, put in your soul. Choose a card from your drop zone, put in your damage zone. I don't know what the condition here is supposed to be, so moving on. If you got a Satale, it's a 13k beater slash booster. Sure, simple enough. Not gonna lie, could this deck lose to deck out? Yeah, because it's not recycling cards back. I would play Voltrosa in this deck because the recycling could actually be really helpful here. That would be really nifty. Another like card that you could run here, and this is a really like funny card, right? And it's an order card for Keter Sanctuary. I forget its name, but it's the one with 3 birds on it. So let me go ahead and specify order card. I'm pretty sure it's a grade 1 order as well, but let me be sure here. I guess it wasn't a grade 1 order, so let's just put all grades here. Now this order card's very recent, so it'd probably be near the bottom here if it was going to be anywhere. There it is. You could play the Rusting Tree because you got a lot of Carablast to go around, so you might as well pay CB to choose 3 grade 1 normal units and put them on the bottom to draw. You could play Rusting Tree. It's kind of neat. Overall, I mean, it's kind of, I would say I'd give it about an 8 out of 10, right? It's like, it's just a pretty okay implementation of Angel Feather. There's not really a lot wrong here, aside from the fact that CB is a little easy for this deck, relatively speaking, but he does make pretty dedicated attempts to, like, counteract that, so it's actually fairly balanced that way. I think my high point is that there's a lot of toolboxing here, and so it really incentivizes being able to have a varied deck with solutions to most problems, which I think is something that's sorely lacking from Standard, which is very beatdown oriented. You want to make decks towards consistency and not variety for the most part. So that's really nice. I think it kind of like goes against the grain of what like Standard design mostly does, but it does that because it's being highly derivative of the old Celestial style of play with a bit of Gavriel mixed into it. So it's not very original is the thing, right? It's something that he did because he knew what to model it after. So I feel like because of that, it's a little unfortunate. It's kind of like they are Celestials, but it's somewhat represented as kind of like a new Standard deck. So I feel like I kind of would have liked there was something new about it. And I guess technically it's different, but yeah. So I'd say it's still like about an 8, right? I just really don't like the AI art though, but you know, that's just me personally. Okay, so we have Omega Mart. It's a custom Regalis piece. It's the one card. Dude, stop. He's got 2 cards. Ooh, okay. 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 Well, that one's taking forever to load, so we'll do it with this one. Dude, stop. It is a blitz order. Remove this card and perform one of the following. You have ketchup, sushi, and cake. Okay. Remove this card and perform the following. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater Vanguard was placed this turn or had 2 or more critical, all of your opponent's Vanguards get -1 critical to the end of this battle. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Ooh, that's an interesting Regalis piece. If your opponent's attacking unit's power is 3,000 or greater, pretty easy, or the number of your opponent's attacks is 4 or more, all of your opponent's attacking units get -35,000 until end of this battle. Well, I'm out here using stock photos. I mean, it's very fair play, right? It's much better. Not ketchup on sushi. Not only is there ketchup on sushi, which is hideous, but he's got cake there, man. Wait, did he put ketchup on the cake? Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, dude, stop. Anyway, yeah, this is extremely powerful defensive tool, but it's a once per fight, so, you know, fair play. It's good that it's this powerful. I could see where people legitimately use this to clutch up in especially Vanguard-centric matchups. Like, throwing this down on a Varga is definitely, like, a huge game changer, potentially. So, yeah, honestly, not bad. What about this one, though? This is the Omega Mart, which is a normal Regalis order. Remove this card and perform one of the following. Discard 2 cards from your hand to search your deck or drop up to 1 normal unit and 1 order card. Reveal it out of your hand. Search your deck. Shuffle. Ooh, that's kind of like Forbidden Circuit, but Forbidden Circuit adds a grade 3 to grade 4, This one adds a normal unit and up to 1 order card. But you have to discard 2 cards from your hand. So it's overall a -1, but the search of this is a lot better for the most part. I mean, the only thing you can't add is Sentinel. And it can be any order card for the most part. You can add a Blitz order even. So you can, Counter charge 1, soul charge 2, and energy charge 3. Oh. So, okay, you know what this is, guys? I know what he modeled this after. He modeled this after Radiance Caliburn, which I think a lot of us still remember Radiance Caliburn, but this card was pretty popular like a year ago, right? I mean, just to kind of quote, it's like, oh, that's so last year, but yeah, it came out in 2024, and it was definitely the regardless piece of 2024. Anyway, so this is kind of like that because you either have like the dig. This one's the search, and for this one it's Pot of Greed, or you have the resources, which this one puts into soul to counter charge. This one actually is superior because it gives counter, soul, and energy. So I mean, Radiance Caliburn's Pot of Greed is a +1, whereas this search is a -1, but it's a really strong -1. But still, I think it kind of, I think it still like kind of replaces Radiance Caliburn, right? It's kind of a power creep card, so I don't like this one as much that way. So you can use the first effect of the catch-up card on Persona, right? I mean, I would imagine so, right? Because if it said if the Vanguard was placed this turn, right? So that includes like Persona writing, because that's still then being placed in the Vanguard circle. So yeah, that would work. So honestly, the Omega Mart, I'd probably give about like a 7 out of 10. Like Omega Mart is it's just like Radiance Caliburn but better. I do think the first effect is really neat, right? It's just that it feels like it doesn't really add a lot to the Regalia space. Instead, just making a superior Regalia's piece for the most part. But they did get a little innovative with the first effect, and overall, I could see this getting like ran a lot. It's really strong search effect. Now dude stops actually more like a 9 out of 10. I really like that this is just one of the sheer defensive stuff, and it doesn't power creep, right? Because we don't really have a Regardless piece that's as strong as this. I mean, I think the only thing it power creeps potentially is Evergreen Transfer. But at the same time, Evergreen Transfer sucks ass and needed to be power creeped anyway, so this is a good job there. And it's got a couple different ways to defend, so it's actually not niche the way Evergreen was. So unlike Evergreen, you could justify running this in most decks. Now, I'm not sure if it's better than Twincast, because Twincast has the discard implications, right? This doesn't have that discard implication, so it's actually still in the running with Twincast potentially, but it's such a strong defense. I could see people going for it anyway. All right, Adventurous Pizza, this is Chaos Breaker. Here's the second half of my customs, which are these guys. I'm actually going to skip these because I already read his customs last time, and I kind of want to move on. He's got 10 cards of that, so yeah, I already read his customs. That would be going over the limit anyway. I'll never forgive the Omega Mod staff. I'll never forgive the Japanese. Okay, let's go ahead and take a few of these out. All right, so we've got Shadowverse Beyond. Oh shoot, we playing Sword, bro. Swordcraft. I know me some Swordcraft here. All right, you got Albert, you've got Amelia, you got Luminous Mage, you got all the good ones. All right, let's do this. I'll start with Albert because I can't discern a starter for this. So Albert's got to be the main Vanguard, right? He was also the finisher in your Shadowverse deck. He was a ridiculous finisher. I kind of dropped off of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond because I think Storm was just a very not great mechanic. You just kind of lost out of nowhere, it felt like. Now, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire. Ooh, interesting for Keter. Then if you have more rear guards than your opponent, draw a card. That is a Kagero effect on Keter. Auto on the Vanguard Circle once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you have more rear guards than your opponent, I mean, I guess I get it, because it's not about the retire, it's about the making sure that you have more than they do, which is peak Swordcraft is to always have biggest board, and whenever they break board, you just build board again. That's how Sword plays. You counterblast 1, stand this unit, and it gets 5,000 power for each of your tokens with Knight in their card names, and drive -1 until the turn. Okay. Huh. Your name's not on here, Albert, but I know what you are, thankfully. Okay. So if it's for each of your night tokens, that's kind of a nice yay for being in a crappy mood all day. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Luis. Honestly, yeah, that's pretty fair, right? At maximum, you should only be having up to 5 night token, but then you would need to have everything be a freaking night token, and it seems like there are a lot of units here, so I'm not sure how night token spam goes. But even with that, it's only at the end of the battle that it gets the power. So that means that it won't be for both attacks. His initial attack is going to be kind of weak, so it sort of reminds me of like Modern Youthberg, where Skyfall Rebuild attacks for F-all, but then once you go into Exist, that's when the real power starts to come in. So Skyfall Rebuild's exceptionally easy to guard, and this is too at first. And yeah, it's also what's neat about it is that it's a straight +1 because you don't have to like discard or retire or anything like that for the drive, so you just get the extra drive. So that's actually pretty nifty. Not bad. Okay, and I just like that he didn't overblow it. It has a simple idea and it knows what it does. Let's go Luminous Mage Max because she's hot. Okay, so what do you do? When it's placed on rear circle from the hand, Soul Blast 1, you may call 2 night tokens to rear circle. But if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you may call a Steel Clad Knight. So we're doing the multi-token modality that Shadowverse is known for, right? This would get really fun if we were to do like Earthright, dude. Earthright would be insane. So, auto in the rear circle. When a token with Knight is placed on rear circle, it gets, if this unit was not attacked this turn, your Vanguard cannot be hit. Ward. They have Ward. Honestly, I like them witches. Oh, dude, yeah, witches and glasses are my shiznit, Noel. That is where wife is for me, and this is wife. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Ward in Vanguard is a fascinating idea. It's very rude. I think this actually could be feasible, but it does need one stipulation. The ward units need to have a secondary continuous skill that states, during the battle this unit is attacked, you cannot call cards from hand to Guardian Circle. That way, you cannot just repeatedly guard your wards. Your wards are a redirect attack, but then once that happens, they're gone. But they still did their job of redirecting the attack, right? At least the attack doesn't have to connect against the ward guy. Yeah, that's the thing. So I think the reason why they say there was an attack this turn, your Vanguard cannot be hit. So I think they actually, no, I'm reading this again. No, that's fine, right? Because if you attack it, even they defend it, it loses ward. Yeah, you're right, Graham. You're right. It doesn't need to connect. It loses the ward automatically. I kind of like that. Like, that's kind of neat. And thankfully, they also specify front or rear circle. Otherwise, we'd be really having problems. All right. Next up, we've got Amelia Silver Captain, I think her name was. She was something like that. Silver Captain Amelia, yeah. Neat defense. Yeah, I like that. And the thing is that the wards don't have, like, anti-control. So if they just get sniped, they're sniped. But thankfully, you don't really need to like worry about cards getting sniped that much because it's not the bulwark or defense. It's just an additive property for your opponent to like go fetch first. And because this is going to be adjacent to Swordcraft, which, oh, that's actually the type, neat. Because it's Swordcraft, they will always, you know, have more. They will always have more on board. Honestly, Vanguard kind of limits Swordcraft a little bit in that it's 5 zones. It's kind of funny. Now, the actual problem, it keeps that passive past the end of the turn. So if it doesn't die, it keeps doing that every turn. It's true. I would imagine though that they're I'm gonna wait because there's a possibility that the tokens might disappear automatically, so it only like works on a normal unit that sticks around there. So I wonder about that, but that is a really good point, Graham. So when it's placed at the rear circle from the hand, look at the top 5 cards of your deck for a counterblast to get a Swordcraft put in the hand. But if you didn't reveal, you can call a Steelclad token. Flavorful. No, maybe that's not that big of a problem. Yeah, I agree, Graham. I'm not sure if that's the biggest problem. It might just be considered like a nice perk of the effect, because we also have to imagine that ward is not as powerful here because, I mean, there's the ward's not doing too much, but maybe it's actually more powerful than we give it credit for. Ward is effectively as strong in intercept as whatever the first attack is, right? So like if Rock Argor is attacking for 30k and Persona Ride, the ward unit was effectively a 20k intercept, right? So that's almost gelment level. If you have more rear guards than your opponent, this unit gets boost. So I've got to say it. So far for flavor, it's spot on. It's got Shadowverse flavor with ward, and it's also got the swordcraft fundamentals down. He's got the tokens there too. And he's not overblowing it. Albert just has 2 basic effects, and he's just like a finisher, right? He's the main Vanguard, and he does big at attacking, right? Luminous Mage spawns units that are defensive units. They're wards. She does that. Amelia is a mustard unit. It gets you more cards, and it's a booster because why not? It should go somewhere at this point. Now, what's this great? I actually don't know this one. Zirconia. Okay. At the start of your battle phase, if your soul does not have a Zirconia, you can put this card into your soul, and you can call up to 2 Knight tokens or up to 1 Steelclad Knight token. That's also Shadowverse, right? Because you get the option between the 2 smaller and the 1 bigger. And then if you have more rear guards than your opponent, all of your rear guards get 5,000 power damage. Ooh, it's the only effect it has, but that's a really good, you definitely want Zirconia there. And on top of that, you definitely want to be placing Owlbear to Soul Blast out that freaking Zirconia, because you do not want to cut yourself out of doing that, because that is your power right there. One thing that's also interesting about this card that is really worth noting, chat, that is a subtle downside. Your timing here is the start of the battle phase to put into the soul, right? So not only are only 4 rear guards max getting the 5,000 power, it's not 25, it's just 20,000 at max. Also, this can screw a little bit with the having more rear guards than your opponent, because now if your opponent's also playing Keter or something like that, maybe Stoicheia, they're probably gonna have a full board. And that means even Owlbear's facilitator skill here wouldn't be enough. You'll just be equal, right? Like a Saragown wouldn't be able to proc under those conditions. That's an interesting trade-off. That is a very interesting trade-off. I kind of like that. That is actually more fair than it initially lets on. That is cool. What's this one? Continues with the Vanguard circle. Oh, this is a right light. Wait, hold on a second. 3. I should have been reading. Oh, they had numbers. Don't you call first, then check if you got more? God, you do check first. Okay. But I still think if they had just done the power swap and then the call, that would have been fine. I firmly believe. So it is 25. Oh, crap. Never mind. Yeah, this might be a little overtuned. Jeez, you can tell I'm getting a little tired because I'm starting to screw up on the basics of the effects there. Okay, so let me actually go back and read this, because this must be the grade 1. So, this is the Luminous Commander. When this is wrote upon by Luminous Potion Right Lydra, you Soul Blast or look at the top 5, choose a Swordcraft, and put it in the hand. But if you didn't, you call a Knight token. Perfect effects, basically Keter and Swordcraft at the same time. Moving on. So this is the Potion Right. If you have more rear guards than your opponent, and you have Luminous Commander in your soul, you can ride without discarding. That's a little difficult. That's actually gonna be kind of tough, isn't it? Because if your opponent goes first, especially if they're playing a retired deck, good effing luck. How are you gonna achieve that? So that's actually kind of a weaker ride line, man. I don't know. I don't know about that. Okay. It's flavorful for sure, but Christ, it's a little hard for my liking. So what's this? This must be a Knight token, right? So this is your token, this is your Knight, and then this is your Steelclad Knight. This card can be put on Guardian Circle. Oh, so basically it's an interceptor, is what it is, right? Because, you know, tokens, you know, might disappear and they leave the rear circle, right? But this one can actually be put on Guardians. Oh, that's nifty. He thought about that one for a minute. That's cool. And then we've got good old Lance Troop over here. So when it's placed on the rear circle from the hand, you can call a Knight token in the rear circle. Fair enough, just a simple token generator. It's very reminiscent of plant token generators. When a token with Knight is placed on rear circle, this can attack a rear guard in the main phase, and 5,000 power in a turn. Oh, tokens can stay in Guardian Circle. No, decoy tokens can intercept. That's actually true, but then why do you put that? Wait, because you're right, they can intercept. Yeah, and there's nothing stopping them, because when you... Then this is probably pointless. Okay. Good call, Nadote. I brain farted there. I totally forgot about the evil decoy tokens. And also by translated property, plant tokens that gain intercept, I guess to ensure there's no confusion. Maybe it's like a reminder text, I guess. Because plant tokens from like gradual and stuff also do that. Beast Deity, yeah, token. But no, but I get why the Beast Deity ability, right? So what he's doing is he's trying to once again ensure that he has more rear guards than the opponent by trying to snipe one of the rear guards, but he's doing it by battle because it's actually interactive. Your opponent can guard that, so your opponent has counterplay to stop it, but they need to give up a card for that to happen. So fair's fair. I think the only problem that I could possibly detect here is that because this is not once per turn, if you have ways of spamming tokens, you're also technically spamming attacks. Now, Knight token is 8,000. So that's not a lot of power there. And you're not gonna be able to get the power from your Zirconia until the start of the battle phase. This isn't empowering them either. There's not a lot of power on them, so you have to figure that out, I think. Steelclad's 10k, so that's a little better, but still, yeah, that could actually get a little bad. Especially against like a Bastion deck or something like that, or something that requires a lot of green 3s. It's, oof. Reflects how Luminous gives all Knights rush, but lets them attack units but not face up. Right, because Luminous Knight had that effect. As long as it stayed out there, that commander would just see tokens say, okay, you can rush this turn. Thank God it wasn't Storm. But yeah, so that is a pretty good representation, and that's all of them. Honestly, like, I mean, that's kind of like peak, dude. That's like 9.5 out of 10. They perfectly encapsulated the Swordcraft theme. All these are just oozing with Swordcraft. They feel fun, they feel like Keter, and at the same time, they also take the Keter formula but have kind of an interesting spin on it. The Ward here from Luminous Mage, I mean, Best Girl also has coolest gimmick, right? Ward in Standard is really nifty. We need defensive mechanics like that in Standard right now, and this is definitely it, Chief. So hell yeah, I like that a lot. It's also susceptible to control, which is good because that has always been the sword thing. You allow board to get destroyed because you're really good at rebuilding board anyway. It's Royal Paladin ad deck, right? Zirconia's power boost seems fine given the small numbers. Yeah, I think Zirconia, if anything, Graham, I feel like Zirconia is a bit of a crutch for this deck, right? Because the only thing that's really bringing any offense to the field here is your Albert, right? Worlds Beyond is getting worse and worse with every update. I heard. I've been keeping up with Ignitus, and I've been keeping up via that, and yeah, it's really bad, dude. It's really bad. So okay, yeah, 9.5 out of 10. What's up, dude? What's happening? All right, let's see. How many do we got? So this is Randorosu. So he's Randorosu's been an old timer, bro. He did a lot of V series stuff back in the day, though. Oh, and speaking of, here's V series cards. Oh, hey, he's doing he did V series Seekers. Okay, so he's got like 5 of these here. How many does he have and he also has Death Army and Brawlers. Ooh, okay, I don't think he do all of these then if they're like a ton. So let's see, that's 3, so that's 5, 3, which is 8, so he'll need like no more than 12 here if he wants to make it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he just did it like that, huh? How many times have you topped in a shop tournament? Just curious, sir. Actually over 10 times. I've gotten a mat. I have a mat to count them, and I think I had like a dozen. Yeah, Shadowverse Worlds Beyond is just terrible these days, I hear, man. Not only are the updates really screwing with everything, but just the general gameplay is really stale and not great. It just feels like the game itself is okay in a vacuum, but then you realize that compared to previous Shadowverse iterations, it's just god-awful, right? It's not nearly what it was before. It's kind of hard for them to like beat the cash grab allegations at this stage, right? Like what they were going on at the beginning with the really terrible review bombing. Yeah, Worlds Beyond is not if. Yeah, I bet, Luis. I hopped that off that really quickly. I think I only streamed that like 2 or 3 times, dude. Like, I think it was 3. It's bad. I'm just waiting for the last nail in the coffin to quit. Yeah. Swordcraft Turbo, dude, yeah. The last time I was on there was at the second set's release, and I just like I built Rune because I like Runecraft. I like Dirt Rune, and I played for that for a few matches. Got stormed a bunch and left. So yeah, it's how it is. So okay, we got a lot of stuff here, but it's also getting a little on the late side. So I think I will save these for next time because we've surpassed an hour of reading, and I definitely want to keep. I can't read those anyway. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and leave Randorosu for next time here. This was pretty fun reading these. Shadowverse was definitely the peak. I couldn't even read these because it had too much. The Bergalis pieces were interesting. The AI arts were, I mean, at least the friggin' Angel Feather likes were decent in effects. You know, the eyes were terrible, and don't even get me started on this one. And actually, I mean, aside from Shadowverse, Elordia, we really started strong. So yeah, I bet Genesis, like, we started and ended strong, and everything in the middle was kind of whatever filler, right? I feel like that describes an anime, but I can't think off the top of my head what anime that describes. Maybe someone can let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's stream. So if you guys like doing these streams, definitely hop on for the next one. They kind of come in on short notice, but it's generally around this time of day that I'll be able to do them for the most part, because it kind of lines up with me coming back home from work and all that. So definitely like look around during this time of day, once every few days. I'll probably upload one of these, and obviously if you miss it, you can always just like come back in for the like the post stream and stuff like that. By the way, Josh, you look at the rest of the Dragon Rider cards yet? Yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, I think I mentioned in our DMs there at one point that I did, but even if not, yeah, I did. They're pretty neat. Well, anyway, with that, yeah, for now, check you guys later. I might do a little Time Stranger in a few minutes. I might not, depends on how I feel. So if you're a Digimon fan, look out for that, but no promises there. It just depends on how I feel after I end the stream here. So yeah, but aside from that, watch out for the Siana. We got a Siana and Sagita fight night that's going to be popping up shortly. I mean, it got done uploading here. I just got uploaded to YouTube, so it should be here within the hour, fellas. So yeah, look forward to that. That was a really fun matchup. I love doing that match, so look forward to it. Anyway, with all that said, take care. God bless, and have a good night, y'all. Check you later.